The truck crashed into a civilian. We're still getting further. Suspect possibly came in a silver Pathfinder. Suspect was seen wearing camo.
I heard the noise, turned, could see the panic movement behind me. Opened the door, asked, what was that? I heard AR-15. She said there was more of a, she said there's a guy out there with a gun. Get out.
My whole life I've wanted to be in the background, and I don't want the limelight. I don't like the spotlight.
Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And they may not know it, but I guess I'll take it. Everybody said it enough, I guess I'll take it. But I'm just so glad that the result was the result.
There's one male shot in the leg. We're going to get a TN route as well. There was another male trying to take the suspect down.
It wasn't luck that you guys were prepared. You had spent years preparing for this day. And so tell me about that.
Training was good fellowship with us. It was a day in the woods at a beautiful range that we could, fellowship and bond. This day was put forward many years ago that for us to be here to defend our house of worship.
I knew that, I realized then that you can go from singing and worshiping to
Just
disaster.
Pure chaos,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In a moment.
Chaos and disaster
Right.
quickly. So I guess that's the one thing I did take away from that. And so I knew we were in the same situation.
This would-be gunman shows up in his vehicle. We understand that this person drove onto campus at a high rate of speed, much higher than is normal for
Right,
Sunday.
through a parking lot
Through a
on a
parking
Sunday
lot
morning.
Yeah. Behaving erratically, irresponsibly.
Drew attention to himself.
Attention. You just happen to have a deacon who is running late to service.
Actually, the deacon had decided to stay home for a few minutes and make himself breakfast instead of buying breakfast. He saw the man come in, driving erratically, drew attention to himself.
Watching him. Okay.
The man pulls up. From what I understand, he got out of his vehicle with some of his gear on. I believe he pulled the weapon out, laid it on the ground, and then put on a vest.
Lays an AR-15 style rifle.
Rifle on the ground.
Okay.
Put on hearing protection. Richard was watching him. He actually talked to the man.
Richard's the deacon.
The deacon.
Okay.
And he asked, hey bud, what's going on? What are you doing? And the man picked up his weapon and just kind of looked at him and then proceeded to start walking down the front of the building to the front lobby doors.
It was chaotic anyways, but the good kind of chaotic. Little kids coming down off the platform, and the adults that were corralling them and that were finding their seats. And we were changing parts of the service. The next thing I knew is somebody ran into the back of the sanctuary and said, there's a shooter.
This gunman, who is now in a tactical vest with magazines and a handgun and an AR-style rifle, is walking down the front of the building towards the main entrance, which is right over my shoulder.
Richard, from what I understand, got back in his pickup and he just floored it and
drove across the grass, across
down the sidewalk
Yeah.
and across the grass. And because the gunman had put on the sound savers, he didn't hear the forward bullet coming at him. He was impacted, knocked to the ground. The deacon backed his truck up, was going to go for him again.
He's still armed, he still has his weapons.
He then fired into the pickup truck and many rounds. Marielle alerted us to the gunfire and said AR-15. So that put it in my head, and now I know it's a gunfight. I said where, and she said out there. And I just came out the doors at the end of the hallway and came out to the door here.
I came out into the lobby area and knew where my team members were looking at, and I saw outside of the glass wall that there was somebody dressed in what I consider military combat full gear. My idea was to run across and get into behind the brick wall here. He was facing outwards away from me, and so I thought I had time to come across. Had drawn my handgun just before I got to cover. He somehow turned around. I don't know exactly how. All I know is glass shattered. I saw him motion around, and he sprayed the glass with ammunition, and one of those hit my leg and spun me around.
Ron was hit, and I circled back around along the wall where he was taking cover, partially taking cover. And at that time, he was also being engaged by another security team member from in front of the building to the west of us.
So I knew I had been hit, and looked at my leg and said, yeah, that's not good. And I didn't have the strength to get back up and move forward. So I figured my best chance was to stay where I was and stay focused.
I remember seeing him silhouetted against the pickup truck, firing. Large burst of automatic weapon fire. Came back around the tables and was coming up near the wall. I believe he was struck by the security team member from the other end. Noticed that Ron was on the ground. I knew he'd been shot, but was still at the ready.
Yeah, Ron's still in the fight.
He's still in the fight. He's ready to go. I moved around the tables and then went back out the doors, took the appropriate action to advance on him, and I got the long gun away from him.
Yeah, you got to get that weapon out of his
I got
hands.
the long gun away from him. I knew that's what he was using. I got that away from him, cleared that to the other side of the sidewalk, grabbed his sidearm, and got that away from him, and then proceeded to cover him. Our team member from down the wall who had engaged him came down, and we put cover on him. Not long after that, another team member came out from the lobby. He had gone with the crowd, or advanced before the crowd, drew his weapon, from what I understand, as people were evacuating the east side of the building, made sure the area was safe, was out there as the whole sanctuary was emptying, and then came back to make sure we were all right in here. And we all stood over the man and until law enforcement.
Do you decide in your heart what your ability is and where your place is to do that? And as much as I moved into this situation, we had people that stepped up and recognized the problem, and they just called it out. There were people that were calling 911 and reporting and kind of talking them through the events. So those are just as important too in the whole scheme of things, that we need just people to step up in whatever they feel that their abilities allow them to do.
Well, we talked before, just take the first step. Realize that if your church or other religious organization doesn't have any safety protocols at all, you're vulnerable. At this day and age in our fallen world, you're vulnerable. And just start taking some steps to move forward. And it can be the ordinary people that do it.
Hello, USCCA family. Tim Schmidt here, CEO of Delta Defense and co-founder of the USCCA. I want to share something powerful with you, something that happened just a few days ago in Wayne, Michigan. You may have seen the headlines, but if you haven't, this is a story you need to hear. 3 brave heroes, all USCCA members, were sitting inside their church, Cross Point Community Church, when gunfire erupted from outside. Now, I want you to imagine that moment. The chaos, the confusion, the fear. Most people honestly would freeze, but not these men. They had trained, they were prepared. And when that moment came, when lives were on the line, they acted. Now look, there are a lot of stories being told out there about self-defense, about gun owners, about people like us. But this is the story that matters. The story of 3 everyday Americans who didn't ask for the spotlight, but became heroes because they were prepared. So let's make sure the world hears it. If you're a USCCA member, I hope this fills you with pride. It sure does for me. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Please share this video. Post it, text it, forward it. Let your friends and your family, your community see what real protection looks like. Let them see what it means to be a part of the USCCA. God bless you, and thank you for being a part of this mission.